Hello and welcome to another episode of the Blockbuster Guys, and today we're setting the Wayback Machine back to 2001 for Josie and the Pussycats. I know this is one of my all-time favourite films.
Genuinely, me too, for sure.
Yep.
Genuinely top 10 for sure, 100%.
It's a classic. But I mean, to set it up, it's obviously based on the Archie Comics characters, Josie and the Pussycats. You've got the film opening with a boy band called Du Jour.
Du jour means kindness.
They're on a plane and they've discovered some messages hidden in one of their songs whilst they were remixing it. And this is the main plot point that the film hinges on, is the idea of hiding subliminal messages in pop music. That's basically the reason why the record label, Mega Records, has to disappear them and go on the search for a new band to promote, to hide the subliminal messages in their music instead, and basically mold them into a marketing tool for nefarious reasons.
So the movie establishes very early on who each of the three main characters are, what they stand for, and their personalities, all set to a very catchy song. You got Rachael Leigh Cook as lead guitarist and singer Josie McCoy. Then there's Rosario Dawson as bassist and backup vocals Valerie Brown. And then finally, my favorite character for sure, Reid as drummer Melody Valentine.
Now, Du jour is Breckin Meyer, Donald Faison, Seth Green, and the other guy. I can never remember that guy's name. Alexander Martin is his name, sorry. Alex Martin. Their whole segment at the beginning is hilarious. The music is like you could see it like them being an actual boy band with the music. That the song is a boy band song. Both of them, Du jour Around the World and Du jour Backdoor Lover. I love the fact that the band is called Du jour, which for those who don't know is French for of the day. So it's the specialty. It's the special of the day. Special Du jour.
Well, and they're literally the band of the day.
It's just they're just a boy band, and just they're there, and it's just they make them. And just the fact that they keep misusing the word du jour.
Yeah.
Du jour means kindness. Du jour means friendship. Du jour means love.
Du jour means family.
Du jour means hygiene.
Du jour means teamwork. Du jour means friendship.
Du jour means mayday.
Your main two bad guys, the bad guys. There's three, I guess, if you can count Mr. Movie Phone. But the two of them, the main ones, are going to be our Alan Cumming and Parker Posey. Fantastic.
Yeah, and I mean,
fantastic at this movie.
Parker Posey at the time was the indie darling, as it were.
Oh yeah,
she's done so many indie flicks,
Best in
back
Show,
to back.
and anything in that of the Best in Show genres, like any of those kind of Witty for Guffman movies. That whole section, she was huge in those.
Yeah, and she has impeccable comic timing, as well as being obviously a really good actress.
These kids will never know what hit them.
And neither will you.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Huh? What?
You just said something.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. I said, these kids will never know what hit them, and then you said, and neither will you.
I did?
We all heard you.
Oh.
And just to comment on the advertising, it's everywhere. It's constant.
But that's the
it's on purpose.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem.
No one paid money.
No, it's
to
not.
Be in this
it's
movie.
not product placement, and that's
Exactly.
the thing which
Let's
a lot of
hammer that
critics
home.
miss. Critics panned the film, and they said the product placement was off-putting, but it's not. The product placement is done to such a ridiculous level that you've got McDonald's on the shower
40-foot arch.
Yeah,
in the New York skyline.
But you've got it on the shower doors in the hotel.
Yeah.
You've
Target
got a lot of
sponsors the airplane.
Bounce. You've got in the store at the beginning, in the record store, you've got the standees for Space Channel 5. The plane is Target. It's all over it. But then you've got Bounce. You've got Ivory. You've just got bottles of Ivory washing up liquid behind them on shelves whilst they're on a plane. You've got Ray-Ban.
Makes no sense.
Ray-Ban on the sunshield of the car. You've got so many different products, but then you go, none of it was all voluntary. And you've got certain things like, Sega featured a lot in the film, but then the Sonic the Hedgehog comic was in Archie
Yeah.
Comics.
Yeah.
You've got Cartoon Network branding all over the place, but then Cartoon Network was the channel that the Josie and the Pussycats cartoon was airing on. So
Eventually, they got control of all that.
it's done to set up one punchline towards the end of the film.
Yeah.
And all the critics seem to miss that because it's not a signposted plot line, and it's not delivered by one of the main sort of characters. It's delivered by the government official. But it's all there for that. And the whole point is this isn't a film that's sort of satirizing and going, oh, this is all terrible. It's a film that's sort of, self-referential and in on the joke and going, we're also part of that conspiracy.
Yeah.
And that's why the joke works. And it was, one of the guys who horribly missed the point of it was Roger Ebert. Roger Ebert said, he compared it to Josie and the Pussycats are not dumber than the Spice Girls, but they're as dumb as the Spice Girls, which is dumb enough, and gave it 0.5 star out of 4, which was the same rating he gave Spice World the movie. Now, I will defend Spice World the movie. I did see it multiple times at the cinema at its initial release. But at the same point, Spice World the movie is a good few rungs below Josie and the Pussycats on the scale. It's a dumb, not guilty pleasure of a movie. There's some actually quite clever writing in Spice World, but it is a throwaway, trying to be like a Hard Day's Night and a throwback kind of film.
It's a fun movie. It's not more
Whereas
than that.
as this is much higher than that.
Look at them staring at us. No one thinks I should be here. That's totally what they're thinking.
Look at them staring at Josie. No one thinks I should be here. That's totally what they're thinking.
If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Empire gave it 4 out of 5 on its initial release, and said that it's I think it was Caroline Westbrook reviewed it and saying, it's not a high art movie, but it's one of the most consistently entertaining films you're likely to see this year. And that is pretty much on the ball.
Yeah.
And it is the thing. It's like there's so many references. We were talking before we actually started filming, just the engineering the plane crash, because it's the setup for the introduction of Josie and the Pussycats is they have to kill du jour, and they decide to kill them on the plane by literally engineering a plane crash. And the code word is, or the code phrase is, take the Chevy to the levee.
Yeah.
Which is dark.
Yeah. Which is, that's obviously to make the connection, that's American Pie by Don McLean, right? Which is about the
Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, the Big Bopper.
Yeah. And the thing that I didn't realize until I had actually looked this up, they're on the plane for 4 minutes and it crashes. That's what happened with that horrible crash back then. They were on the plane for 4 minutes before it crashes. That is not done by accident. That is an intentional pacing of the movie at the beginning of the movie. Genius. Just genius. It's just that's thought through. That's thoughtful. They thought this through. We're going to make a reference to this. Then we're going to have this happen. It all connects together. Lay it out.
And that's the thing.
And that's in this.
It's what the film does incredibly well. Is it's a mix of. It's like Community, the Dan Harmon TV show, in as much as like. It has some dumb jokes in it. It has some sort of weird slapsticky stuff. It has some whatever, and it has some well thought out, well constructed, jokes that people have clearly put thought and effort into, and every single one of them hits in its own way. Mm-hmm. Tara Reid is a sort of comedy tour de force. No one plays that sort of dumb character any better than she does in this movie, and it's
that in the best possible way.
Oh yeah, because it's a joyful character. It's not mean, and it's not anything else.
No,
you genuinely like her. She's just fantastically great in it. But as I say, the chemistry between all three of the main characters is what anchors the movie, because there's a lot of silly stuff goes in on it, but it stays true to the universe that it establishes, and that's not like, oh, it has to be real world or anything else. It's a comic book universe.
Yeah, and within that universe, if you are a fan of Josie and the Pussycats, the original cartoon or the original comic, and you know the characters, you're going to recognize the characters because they are in the movie. Like,
You know what? I still don't understand why you're here.
I'm here because I was in the comic book.
What?
Nothing.
Technically, it's a satire, and it's a satire on that sort of consumerism and the whole manufactured pop music, but it's also a satire on the 15 minutes of fame and sort of teen chick flicks, and it's working on sort of multiple levels, but again in a fun sort of joyful twisting. It's
like a VH1 behind the music thing going on. And
I mean, even when you get the whole
band.
montage of their rise to fame, you get them literally the shot of the Billboard chart and them sort of rising up it kind of thing, and you get the fashion and the salons and the recording and everything going on, and then it literally cuts them and Josie turns and goes, "Does anybody else find it weird that all that happened in a week?"
Yeah, right. Like.
And
again, just the satire. The joke just hits it right there, and you're like, perfect.
Yeah,
Thank
but you go, that's the montage you will have in every film about a music band,
Yeah,
and it's
and you see it in things like Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, when they did that parody on the biopics. Obviously, you've got the Al Yankovic story, which is the parody on the biopic, and you got the actual biopics themselves. Those were all tropes within those movies. Those all happened recently, mostly.
Yeah.
But after this one came out, so this one's a little bit ahead of its time in that front, was giving you that kind of like joke. The joke being that it only took a week for all that to happen, and that's like for most of the other biopics, that's like a career to get to that point, and that is again very funny. I did like the it ties it all together a little bit with the three girls who were like, if we'd heard of your band, we would like you, or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact words they said, and at the end they show up, and they're all like, "Oh my god, it's Josie!" And it's like, and that's again the subliminal messaging and the placement and this everything being tied together. And I would be remiss as well not to mention the fact that Carson Daly was in this movie.
Yeah.
And then the fact that it had another Carson Daly, and it was Aries Spears, who's like. Throw it out there, he's black.
Yeah.
So like Carson Daly and this guy, the other Carson Daly, is like this really random stuff.
Wait! Does anyone else think it's a little strange that all this happened in a week?
Yeah, it just like this movie had so much going on and so much going for it, and it was just weird that so many people got it so wrong.
Yeah, horribly.
And it's surprising. It's surprisingly how. But now to say that the week it came out, it was top 6. It was number 6 for the U.S. spy charts when it came out. U.S. film charts when it came out. But it did worse than Joe Dirt, which kind of upsets me.
Massively so.
I don't mind Joe Dirt and as a movie in its own. I do like David Spade as an actor. I prefer him when he's paired with Chris Farley. May he rest in peace. I love that guy. I like that dynamic a little bit more than him on his own. Just being honest about that. But yeah. Little upset that Joe Dirt did better than Josie and the Pussycats at the cinema. I gotta be completely honest about that. I understand why Spy Kids was number 1. I get that. Like that makes sense to me.
Yeah, but you're going, realistically when you look at it, and as I say, the sort of successful joke ratio, the music, everything about it. You go, this should have been, our generation's Barbie. It should have been that film that hit, because it's like, as I say, it's one of those sort of ultimate feel good movies. If you're in a bad mood, you stick it on. You're not going to finish the film in a bad mood. It's a comfort film, but everything about it is so tuned to perfection, and it's there isn't a sort of lull in it. There's no dull moment. There's no sort of oh well. Even the bit where they set up the whole thing with they want to get rid of the Pussycats and just have Josie on her own. It's not a drawn out segment, and it's not a long. It's there to set up a couple of sort of decent jokes, move the plot along to the sort of big denouement at the end, but it's still packed with the humor and everything. I mean, that's where the whole Carson Daly segment comes into it. But yeah, it's just so well done.
Yeah,
and the bit at the end with the because that's the again it's not giving anything away, but the reveal of the car where they're going to engineer basically redo the du jour situation. And sort of when they unveil it and pull back the thing, and Tari just goes, "I've won a car."
A car! Val, I won a car!
No, you didn't win a car.
Oh my God, you won a car!
No, I won a car!
If I were to ask any of these people, I would think they would come back and say, "No, I had a great time making this movie. I had such a good time." It tells, it shows in the movie. I think it does show in movies when you know that they're having a good time in the movie. They're acting, they're enjoying themselves. It shows in their performances.
Well, it also helps when you have a film that shows the outtakes over the end credits.
I do enjoy those. Those.
But it's like you can see that there's a genuine enjoyment taking place.
It's like with
Cannonball Run.
I was thinking more like that thing the Fairley Brothers, Something About Mary. They do a musical video of all the outtakes and stuff. At the end of it, that was fun. little Fairley Brothers segue there. So like when this one came out, it just, for whatever reason, I think at the end of the day, when you look at the background behind this and what happened when it came out, I think it got confused with, I think the marketing team didn't make the connection. I think they said to them, "We're making a movie about Josie and the Pussycats." So they went, "Oh, the Hanna-Barbera cartoon and the comic book," and they geared it towards a different age group than the actual writer, director, cast, and everything about the movie. The movie was made for that preteen. It's basically the successful one was a year later with Scooby-Doo.
Well, it's not even as if it was sort of pre-teen, but it's definitely a sort of early teens.
Teen.
It's that sleepover movie is what they were, sort of.
That's what they're trying for.
And it was a mix of critical consensus and, in many ways, the marketing just plain sucked. Which you get, and it happens quite a lot.
Connect.
And I do wonder if that actually had an effect on Scooby-Doo.
Right.
Because the whole thing is that Scooby-Doo, according to various reports on it, was a much more sort of raunchy R-rated comedy, and then it was sort of like, oh no, we'll tool it down a bit to make it more of a family-oriented movie. And it's like, I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but you're going, it's marketing, because Josie and the Pussycats, yes, you have that sort of the whole backdoor lover sort of thing in it, but you go,
still makes you laugh every time.
It's still very much like, if you were watching it with kids, it's like that's the stuff that goes over their head, but the parents because it's done in a song, and the song is actually quite a well-produced, well-performed song. So it's like, it's there's nothing in the film that's offensive.
No, not at all.
In any way. But as I said, you watched it at the time, 2001, I was in my early 20s, and it was genuinely funny. And obviously now I'm in my late 40s. It's still genuinely funny. Every joke hits. Every, the performances, everything else still hits the nail on the head. And it's because, they're all people who have great comedic timing.
Yeah.
As well as being fantastic actors. So.
And you have a writer-director duo that have historical evidence of saying like we make
Yeah.
good comedy movies.
But that's the
like,
problem.
Again, Can't Hardly Wait.
It's
Very
a
Brady sequel.
crime that they didn't go on to, you know, more things. I mean, it's pretty much. I can't really remember much that they did after Josie and the Pussycats.
Let's have a quick look. Yeah, it's a directing group. No, they did a couple TV stuff after that, from what I can see. But that was like they did a lot of writing. They wrote like Maid of Honor, Leap Year, a couple other things, but mostly TV stuff. I think after that, which again is sad because like I think the world could do with more comedies like this on the big screen. You know, that kind of bridge the gap between multiple genres, but also have at its core, it's one kind of movie. In this case, it's a conspiracy movie, government conspiracy movie, but it's framed in such a way, like I think you mentioned this earlier, that it doesn't feel like a Enemy of the State, JFK, whatever. You know, there's this kind of like serious hard drama about the government. It's a fun movie where that just happens to be this plot going on, and it's like, but the plot itself is pretty like, okay, that's a serious plot. There's that's some people talk about now. That's stuff that people consider as a bad thing now. Like making those commentaries is interesting when you have such a good time watching the movie. On top of that, it's such a weird little dynamic you have. It's quite fun.
Dum dum dum. Ooh, brainwashing. Ooh, help, we're being brainwashed. Diet Coke is the new Pepsi One.
Going back into like looking at the numbers and looking at what was released around the same time and the budget and stuff. So it was budgeted about 40 million in the US, and it grossed about 14 million worldwide. So it definitely made a loss, which is funny with all the product placement. You would have thought that they could have used some of that money if it was actually real product placement.
Yeah, that's the issue with doing voluntary product placement. But I mean, it is the thing of it. It was obviously a bomb at the time, but it is one that has gained a cult following. And I think
they should have done, yeah.
You know, people like there was a guy that wrote the book on it, the Josie book. I think it was like Ross Burlingham. Probably screwing up his name there, so apologies. But you know, that's a very good book on Josie and the Pussycats, and it's the idea of you know, almost like Richard Ayoade writing the book about that Gwyneth Paltrow movie, View from the Top or whatever it was.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's the thing of like, you know, you don't tend to write books about something where there's not an audience, unless you're Richard Ayoade. You know, in which case it does have that cult following that's grown up after it by people who at the time found it through rental and whatever else, and then obviously the streaming era and so on, and even with
this is definitely a rental. Yeah, this is definitely a rental recommendation.
Well, even during lockdown, people wanted good comedies because you don't want to wallow in misery.
It's cool if you like it. Yeah, it's okay if you don't. Just decide for yourself.